everyone. You are currently watching M-Waves podcast. We are coming to you from BVS, and the main aim for this podcast is to empower the youth and bring more insight to the lives of students. And my name is Jim Yangchin,
And I'm Tong Song.
and we are the school media captains of Mutang Higher Secondary School. Today, we have two guests joining us who are the school captains. Could you please introduce yourselves?
Kusuzambo everyone, my name is Thawang Pelkidelma and I am the girls school captain of Mutithang Higher Secondary School.
Kuzambo everyone, my name is Namgyo Zatorji, currently serving as a school captain of Mutithang Higher Secondary School, and I'm studying in 11th Science Peel.
Now we are finished with the introductions. Now we'll be moving on right into the questions. Now coming to the questions. Namgye, we have heard that you came to our school from Samdruchongkar, right? And it's your first time in a school in Thimphu. So what is your experience comparatively to your previous school?
Thank you, Emsam, for your question. Now, if I compare my previous school with my current school, I see a lot of difference actually. So regarding even if I do any of my actions, I see a lot of difference. For instance, the facilities and even the number of students that I see in my school currently. Now, compared to my previous school, we had not enough students and teachers as well. However, in my current school, I see a lot of students and more competition. And regarding the facilities, I see Mutithang HSS more advanced, far more advanced than what we had in our previous school. So also regarding the opportunities that I get. Now coming here in Mutithang HSS, some of the opportunities that I got would be like my the chance to attend the Bhutan Echoes program. So such opportunities helps me shape better for my future. So I think Mutithang HSS is far more advanced and in facilities and even in opportunities. So the major difference could be this.
Now we all have heard, we now have heard your experience, and we have seen what the big difference is, right?
Yes.
Now moving on, Thawang, you are someone who has been in Mutithang and this is your third year, right?
Yes.
So I would like you to as well share your experience of studying in Thimphu for quite a long time now.
I think my experiences here in Mutithang School has been quite positive. Even my friends I surround myself with are all very positive people. They're all very supportive, and leaving aside my friends, even the teachers here are quite supportive as well, because there's a system in Mutithang, something like a class parent, and I believe that has made the students even more closer to the teachers, and the teachers really take care of their students like their child. So I found my experience here at Mutithang to be very positive. I found myself being surrounded by very good people, very good friends, peers, seniors, juniors, and even teachers. So so far I would say that my experience in Mutithang has been quite good.
Now before we move on to the other questions, I would like to apologize to our Madam VP, because according to what they have said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more admissions rolled in next year. Now moving on to the Golden Youth Awards. As we know, Thawang, you represented Thimphu,
Yes.
and Namgye, you have represented Samdruchongkar. So based on your experience in the Golden Youth Camp, may you share your interesting story or what you found amusing at the camp?
Personally, what I found interesting was, I think it was on the day of the talent showcase time, where we were situated based on our Golden Youth Award nominees' numbers. So all the girls got even numbers and all the boys got odd numbers. And surprisingly enough, the two of us were seated right next to each other. So he was number 31 and I was number 32. And right next to me was Golden Youth Award nominee number 33. And when he came into the hall, he carried a really big bag, and it was quite heavy. It looked quite heavy as well. And then when he unzipped the bag and took out a stack of papers, I was quite curious. So I asked him, "What is it that you're holding?" And then as he flipped through each of the pages, I saw drawings, and he said, "These are the paintings I made last night." And his results were really good, because during his talent showcase, he did live painting along with narration, singing, and even beatboxing at one point. And then just to see how much he practiced, just to give you an idea, just imagine the when you buy photocopy paper, how thick it is, and like take half of it, and the front and the back pages were filled with portraits he did the night before practicing for that day. So I was quite enchanted, I would say, enchanted, fascinated by how much he practiced, and I was really surprised just to see how hard he worked. That's my really interesting story, that bit of interesting stories that I've had from my experience.
Wait, so he had like around approximately like this much stack?
Yeah, around that much. He stayed
Of
up
like-
the whole night, I think.
The same painting
Same
over and
painting,
over
yes.
again.
Yes.
That's a lot of dedication right there.
Yeah.
Did he not sleep sleepy the next day?
He seemed quite energetic for someone who had probably not slept the whole night. I think it was his passion to paint, so he was quite active the whole time as well. And even during the talent showcase itself, he was really very engaging and very energetic.
That's surprising. What about you, Namge?
For me, if I share one of my moments in Golden Youth Art Camp, I think it would not be really interesting for you all, but for us, it was so fun. So that moment was when I, along with my friend, one of my close friends during the camp, Sangitile, we used to, go out of our room. Since we were roommates, we go out of our room and then take one of the guitars, and he would sing and I would play guitar. It would make somewhat like noise, and we would just disturb others in the midnight when we were supposed to sleep. So we didn't really take the camp seriously, but we had enough fun and made a lot of memories. However, I have seen a lot of my peers, preparing seriously, but actually me and my roommates, we actually had a lot of fun, more than everyone else. So I think it was my best moment.
Could the noise be heard from where you stayed, Hong?
I remember hearing a faint voice. Like I was up at 12. I think I was working on my talent as well, and then I could hear a faint music coming from somewhere. I thought it was just my imagination. I think it might have been them.
Now moving on to the other questions, like how long was your camp exactly?
About a week long, I think.
Week long?
Yes.
So another question I would like to ask you is that for those like students or anyone like previously studying in class 10 students, like what advice would you give them for like in case they aspire to be like you?
Shall I do?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
According to my experience being a participant of GYA 17th batch, so I think the participants, the upcoming participants, need to build up their acceptance and resilience before going to the program, because actually before you attend the program, when you do the selection through, firstly we begin in our Songkok level, so you get a mentality that you shall win the title, you have to win the title and you're the best. But while reaching in the camp, you realize that there are a lot of more competitors and far more better than you all. So I think most of my friends, what I have seen is because they were really sad and disheartened because they didn't get the title of Golden Youth. So this was mainly because they couldn't accept that they had, they could not win the title actually. But as per my thinking, they didn't actually lose because they had fun and they had the opportunity to learn a lot of things. So I think acceptance and resilience would be the best to build up in yourself before attending the camp, because it helps you a lot. And I already knew that I would not really win because of my own actions, but I could accept that my other friends would win, and I appreciate that.
Did that thought ever like demotivate you like
No.
during the camp?
During the camp, nothing bothered me at all. Nothing demotivated me as such, but I really had fun. So such camps are recommended to all the youth out there.
I would agree. I do agree with him because at a certain level, you do need to have resilience. You do need to have acceptance, and I think that's where my point comes in. If you are going to go for a Golden Youth nominee, I think you also have to accept that just because you failed, not really failed, just because you didn't get the title of the Golden Youth, it is still a huge accomplishment that you made it to the stage in the first place. It is a very big thing that you even got nominated as a GYA nominee, because just imagine, from one Dzongkhag there are maybe hundreds, thousands of students, and from there only 4 students get chosen for this opportunity. And being part of the 4 from hundreds or thousands of students is in itself a great accomplishment. So even in the end, if you do not get the Golden Youth title, as he said, you should just accept it. But acceptance is just not one part of it. You should also accept that you are exceptional, because getting to that level in which only 80 students, 80 students from the whole Bhutan, from 700, 800,000 population, 80 of you were selected that year in order to be a nominee for the Golden Youth Award. I find that itself is a huge accomplishment.
I have to agree with that, honestly, because like some people out there, they have like very high standards and expectations for themselves, and they like work hard, like really hard, to the extent that they tire themselves out. So like having a little bit of like mercy on yourself, I could say, is like also very important for yourself. So next question is, I actually wanted to ask, did you guys learn like any valuable lessons, like very valuable lessons especially?
I think one valuable lesson I learned from Golden Youth was what I said right now, just accepting that you failed, but not getting hung up on it, and instead accepting that you got selected you were one of the 80 selected from all the youth in Bhutan, and that accepting that as a huge accomplishment in itself, because once you get there, yes, there's nothing like getting the title itself, but then again, compared to everything else, there's nothing like getting nominated for GYA title itself. So that's one of the values I learned, that you get up there, get on the stage gracefully, and even if you fall gracefully. So take your failure and really like learn where you went wrong. Personally, I think I failed at the physical fitness test. So I think that's where I went wrong, and then right now I am currently trying to build up my stamina, build up my strength. So that's one of the values I learned, that whenever you see a fault in yourself, instead of just being saddened by that fault, just work actively towards bettering that and filling up all the gaps left.
Now to like last question towards the GYA questions. So I'm gonna put you guys in a scenario, okay? So what if you guys used to go on morning jogs, right?
Yes.
So like during those morning jogs, what if a student suddenly, like one of the candidates suddenly managed to injure themselves while jogging? So like what would you do in that situation without like knowing where everything properly is, like where the health stations are and stuff like that?
Actually, we were usually supervised by one of our coordinators. We were given each coordinator for every session. So during morning PT, we have around 2 coordinators.
3 coordinators.
3 coordinators. So I would just report to them, and they shall
Yes.
do accordingly, and we shall help them also.
But in a situation where maybe there won't be any observers, any coordinators, I think the first line of action that both of us, I believe, is just help that person out.
Yes.
Stop, get out of our line formation, and just help that person out. Maybe ask where they got injured, and then lead them away from the path. Because there were cars where we jogged. So if their car happens to pass by, then it would be very dangerous. So that just get them out of danger and just call for help, and maybe ask someone else to go and get an observer, yes, a mentor, and while we waited with our friend.
Well, response, like both of you. It was very amusing. So now moving on to the leadership questions. First thing I would like to ask you is, Namgye, you have mentioned in your speech before, like for campaigning for Mutthang school captain as well, that you have served as school captain and other leadership roles in your previous school, as well as any other events, right? So like what inspires you to like continue on with the leadership role?
Actually, to firstly correct you, it is my first time to be a school captain. I've served as many other captains, but I never, participated for school captain. But however, I have served as a class captain in my 9th grade, during my 9th grade, and the main leadership, the first step towards leadership started when I was in 10th grade. So I took up the opportunity to be a president of SJYIFC, which stands for Samrup Jonkar Youth Integrated Service Center. So I would like, I would interact with the youth of Samrup Jonkar and Samrup Jonkar Tromde especially. So I served as a president, and such opportunity, gave me the platform to gain valuable skills and knowledge on leadership. And still, I have, participated in the leadership post, and I have attained the school captain post. And now, what inspires me is actually my king, because usually when you might have realized how the workload is to be a school captain of such big schools and renowned school. Now, when I get tired, I listen to songs dedicated to His Majesty, and then speeches that usually our kings give during the national days. So such words gives me inspiration to go forward and work hard, and my king is my inspiration, I would say.
As for me, I do agree with Namgay, because my inspiration is also the king. Just seeing the enlightened leader, as the book would have put it, such as him lead our country, 800,000 people, and comparing that to how much problems we face at a daily from just 1,500, it is really a very enlightening experience for us, eye-opening experience for us on how much the king has done for the people. And regarding that also, I do also derive my inspiration from him. On top of that, I also get my inspiration and motivation to lead from the fact that I would like to repay my country back. So I believe that as a leader, you are not only responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for the school that you lead. So for example, if I go into drugs, maybe if I get into fights, then that would put a bad image not only on myself, but also for my own school. And then carrying that responsibility, setting a good image for my own school, I believe that that is one of the highest ways that I can contribute right now as a student for the benefit of our country.
Thank you so much. That was very lovely answers that truly brings an insight about how you guys are going with all your leadership workload and all. And I actually wanted to ask Hong this. You've had a lot of experience with being leadership, related to leadership. You've been class captain, I believe, many times.
Yes.
And so people sometimes get demotivated when they get that role once, but you keep on taking up that role. What actually really motivates you to do that? What stops you from being demotivated?
I believe that being a captain is a very high role, no matter what sort of captain you are. So it doesn't matter if you're a class captain, it doesn't matter if you're a vice captain, it doesn't matter if you are, let's say, media captains, or it doesn't matter if you're school captains. We each have our own responsibility, and each responsibility contributes to the school in some way. It just happens to be that the school captain is the most prominent role. But that doesn't mean that the school captain is the most important role. Now let's say we didn't have media captains. If we didn't have media captains, I don't think this right now would have been possible. So each one plays a very important role in shaping the school. And then that is what really motivates me, no matter what role I get, because no role is a small role. It doesn't matter the color of your badge, the ranking of your badge, doesn't matter your class. If you are put into a leadership position, I believe personally that it is my responsibility to give the best I can, and then just give it my all and enjoy what I'm doing most importantly. So if I were to flip the switch, I just mentioned media captains. I was just wondering, what are your thoughts, your point of views on getting a leadership position? Because I believe it is the first time for Jimmy Youngchin to get a school leadership position.
actually it's like my very first time getting an actual leadership role. I tried being like class captain before, but that didn't really last long. And it's like very something that I've been dreaming of actually since I was a kid. And like being actually getting this role feels like way different from what I imagined. Like there's a lot of work to do, but then like it gives me like more like it helps me improve my time management skills, and overall I enjoy it a lot. I have like a lot of fun times with the captains, everything, and yeah. What about you, Tong?
In terms of my experience, this is not my first time, but then this will not be my last time either. So as a captain, it is difficult to manage time with your studies and your other things that you have to continue throughout being a captain, because for events like this we have to make time. We need to go out of our class, come attend such programs, because it's such a big opportunity for us. So yeah, being a captain is difficult, but then that does not mean that I will not be a captain anymore. Just gives us a motivation to like go on further.
Actually, I have a question to ask like both of you. So not only are you good at like being leaders, like everyone chose you guys especially to be like the school leaders and all. You guys are also like academically sound. So like I wanted to ask like how do you balance your time?
Regarding the topic on time management, there's nothing special about me, because I'm just good at balancing my own time, because when I work and give my full energy, and when I study with my full focus, and that's how I manage my time. And there's no other key to time management, and moreover, distraction is one of the major issue while you manage your time. So I try to always cut out my distractions, like playing mobile phones, having social media and all. So I really try to minimize those uses, so that I can manage my own time and avoid procrastination and all. So I hope
If I were to add on, yes, I think that's just basically how time management works. Because if you're short on time, you cannot afford to waste any of that precious time on distractions. And I think one of the main distractions right now in the modern world is your mobile device, your mobile phones. So I think one of the ways is just you switch off your phone, you keep it in another room. But what I personally do is that I, first of all, let's say you have a lot of homework. On top of that, you got a really big captain responsibility that you have to do by tomorrow. So first of all, what I do is I just weigh how much I have. If I have like less captain work and more homework, I tend to do homework first. But if I have more captain work and less homework, I do the captain work first. So I leave whatever's less for the end, because that really lightens the load. After you finished a big project, a small one seems almost insignificant. So after you finish the bigger workload, the less workload is easier to do, in my opinion. But it really differs from person to person. But time management essentially just boils down to what Namgye said. It's just managing like your priorities. You have to set your priorities straight, and then you work according to that.
Honestly, like I feel like time management is like an issue really like relevant in the youth nowadays. Like many of us like face challenges with like managing our times and all. And I think what you guys said right now really will help those who are listening to this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Moving on to the next question, I would like to ask both of you, like there are many different leadership styles, right? So like few are like democratic way. So like what leadership style do you think best suits to like use in our school situation?
In my personal opinion, I really tend to look at what type of decisions we're making. So if it's something that will affect the whole school, let's say it has a really big effect, maybe renovating or creating a new toilet area, then maybe I will ask around to a few students, because it is a large school. We have a population of about 1,400 students. And then in a democratic way, if you were to go about, we'll have to ask the opinions of every single student. And then doing that at when we have such a large amount of students is not really efficient. especially if we need the decision to be made fast. So at that time, I'll ask maybe one or two students, a few students, and then I will come to a conclusion. But if it's not that big of a deal, I usually talk to it with my partner and also our SRC, School Representative Council captains. And then the four of us, we discuss within ourselves, see what's best, and then we decide. Because if we were to include every single student, yes, it would be optimal for that. But if you were to think about it really properly, maybe 500 students would want it, maybe 1,000 students wouldn't want it. So either way, you have to go with the 1,000 students because they're more in number, but you will never satisfy 100% of the crowd.
Shall I answer to that? Okay.
Please.
Regarding my opinion, for me, leadership is about being humble and being friendly to others. So I would like to recommend all the leaders, you are also leader, so I'd like to recommend that be humble as far as possible, because you get to interact with the people who have problems, because they can approach to you, and then you can even help each other. So moreover, leadership doesn't mean that giving orders and all. Leadership actually for me means lifting those around you and then helping and motivating each other. And moreover, you should be an example for all of the students. So leadership, regarding the style, best style, I recommend you to be humble as far as possible and be helpful to each other, not giving orders and commands. So, yes, that's all.
Now coming closer towards the end, another question I would like to ask both of you is, and this is asked to many of the leaders all around the world, how would you describe leadership in your own words, in one sentence?
If I were to describe leadership in one sentence, according to my own thoughts, is you have to bounce back. Bouncing back from failures is something that you will have to be able to do at all times. That's, if I were to elaborate, I think that's my sentence, bouncing back from failures. So if I were to elaborate on that, I think I would say that as a leader, I think I've been a leader since class 7, and from then only I've faced countless failures. I failed so many times I can't even count it, even if I used all of the fingers present in this room right now. And I think the most important thing is that you learn how to bounce back from these problems, because just because you faced a failure doesn't mean that it is the end of the road. It just means that you have found one way that doesn't work, and it is up to you to find a way that does work and build up from that failure.
What about you, Namgay?
For me, leadership would be like, for me in a sentence, looking out, seeing, keeping your king as your example, because our king has the characteristics of the Riksum Gembo, being wise as the Jitsen Jamya, and courageous as Chanadoji, and compassionate as the Genrisi. So having these three qualities can make you the perfect leader and a true leader, that what our king, His Majesty, has. So I feel that being a leader, you need to have such qualities what our king currently has, because being under his leadership is the best for a citizen like us. So I feel that our king is our only inspiration that we should take.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
Actually, I have one question I really wanted to ask. So Namgay is has worked in the scouts field, and Hong has worked in upshift related projects and all. So I wanted to ask if you guys have any project in particular which you're really proud of, where you worked with other students or other teachers and all.
For me, apart from scouting, recently I have conducted a shift campaign for our school and YVIA members, Young Volunteers in Action. So under the supervision and coordination of our YVIA coordinator, Madam Sipi, we have conducted a shift campaign program. It is a program to address the issue in our community, whereby I had pointed out an issue of students not being speaking English speaking Dzongkha would be their major problem nowadays. So in order to make them, solve such issues, I would plan the activities, and I collaborated with Lao as well. So both of us were, coordinating this shift campaign. So yeah, this was the most recent campaign that I've conducted for school and initiated it.
If we're going to go by how recent the project was made or conducted, I would also go with shift. I think after the shift we did at our school, Mutitham, I also followed up with a shift campaign at YHS, and that shift campaign was conducted with me and other Thimphu GYA nominees. So that did include one YHS student, Tenzin Yechenma, and then unfortunately a student from Desi could not join us since he is in a boarding school. His name is Ishidorji. And then another one, Kingel, he also could not join us since he has left the country for his studies. And initially it was supposed to be the 4 of us leading. Unfortunately 2 could not join us. So me and Yechenma, we did conduct a shift campaign also at YHS, and I believe that was one of my most recent projects that I underwent, and I believe it was quite successful. Listening to the feedbacks of the students, they were quite positive. They said that they enjoyed it, and then they also said they were looking forward to future projects such as this. But I don't know if they were lying. So I'm thinking that it is the truth, and then I'm getting happy from that thought.
I honestly find that very admirable because my brother, he honestly speaks a lot of English, and he speaks Dzongkha not so good, not so good, but then he's working on it now, and I think this kind of solution really benefits a lot of people, especially the youth these days.
I agree. I think that's the primary reason where we decided to conduct the shift campaign.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, it's an honor to have you two, such amazing people here with us as our guests for today. Namgye, you are such an incredible person. As soon as you came to your first school in Thimphu, you got the role as the school captain. In Hawang, I don't even have to start with you. So you have been leadership throughout your most of your school life, and taking care of most of your group projects as well, even representing Motthang on many different situations. So now with that, our M Waves podcast comes to an end.
Thank you so much, and those of you who are listening to it right now, we have more episodes coming up, and so if you enjoyed this content, we have more episodes that are going to be released, so make sure to check them out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.